Hello and welcome back to Chasing the Target. Today we'll be reviewing the game between Australia and Ireland, and I have
Australia.
Haran. How are you doing, bruv?
Not that great, but I have to be up and ready for your show, so I'm right here, man.
Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. We missed you in the last few episodes, and it's 2-1 now to me. It was 1-1, and now it's 2-1. South Africa beating India. I told you, bro. Our predictions are very neck and neck. Me and you were at it, and sometimes you're right, sometimes I'm right. But we'll talk more about that. But let's talk a bit about Australia Ireland. It was more of a for Australia, a relief, like a banana skin kind of game. We saw what Ireland did with England, and Australia being
Yep.
the home team. They have some easier fixtures now, so this win will give them a lot of confidence, and their hopes are high because England still have to play New Zealand.
Absolutely, and it was. I wouldn't say it was a convincing win, to be honest, because
Yes.
scoring 179 and the lineup that Ireland had, they should have easily uh, got through with more runs and better strike rate and stuff. And they were at one point it was what 68 for six and like 25
Yeah.
for five and stuff, and they just kept on building partnerships here and there. Of course, they fell a lot short, but still, like. Uh, with the caliber that these bowlers have in Australia, I don't think they'll be really happy and say it's convincing one. Look
Yeah, no.
who's in the house, baby.
Fez is
Hello,
in the
sir. How
house.
are you?
Uh, Fez, how you doing, bro?
चल रहा कल टेंशन आ चल रही
Vinny had a similar thing. I think both of you guys are still down after that KL Rahul innings, but Fez, Australia, not like Vinny said, it could have been more convincing, but it was Tucker in the end, right? He came, smashed it, and hit some good boundaries. But for Australia, it was a potential banana skin. They didn't want to collapse like England did. They couldn't afford a collapse, and now with one
yeah.
more game to play for them, they have a. It looks like they have a better chance just because of the fixtures compared to England going to the semis.
Yeah, I mean, अभी convincing enough तो नहीं था with Australia's level of the team that they have and the level of cricket that they play usually. But yeah, considering the fixtures, yeah, it could be Australia and New Zealand. But I mean, we can still see some kind of twist where New Zealand might even end up losing tomorrow to Sri Lanka. So we don't know.
Who's they playing
The
Australia?
New Zealand is playing
Oh, England. Sorry, England.
New Zealand is playing Afghanistan or is
No,
Sri Lanka
England.
playing
England. New Zealand is playing England.
England?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that could so I mean fixtures शायद नहीं देखा मैं but yeah थोड़ा
भैया
ऊपर
एक्सेल
नीचे होने
वर्कबुक निकालो अपना एक्सेल वर्कबुक निकालो अपना
वर्कबुक गिरबुक आपका है भैया अपन छोटे लोग हैं भाई छोटे लोग हैं यहाँ पे अपना
Yeah,
so
so and it was a massive game for this group. Like you
yeah
mentioned that we never know England be maar sakti New Zealand ko, even though New Zealand are the informed team, but Australia will be supporting New Zealand tomorrow, and for them, a massive 2 points. Fez, I mentioned Finch, मैं ऐसा तुक्का लगा दिया था, but it worked out. Again, not the most fluent innings, but the strike rate was much better today.
Yeah, I think it was just like the way Australia played. While I was watching the match, I noticed that it was more like just अभी क्या है एक mark बनाओ, make a mark on the tournament because you really not come up to the tournament. So I think Australia just wanted to play it very safe in terms of like any kind of any department. Even in the bowling, we saw quick wicket. मैं समझा खत्म आज तो 60 ऑल आउट होया था. Stark was on something whenever Stark को गालियां दिए थे कि हो गया करियर उसका लेकिन लेकिन like Stark had a very good comeback but फिर towards the end देखो इतना बुरा like एक player से वो लोग like they were struggling. So there are signs where Australia has problems. We can clearly see that they're not able to make the finish the tail quicker, and that is a sign of concern for them. But for the opposition, it could be something that they could look into. The sign like कल just I think Ireland के साथ उन लोगों का match. Sorry, Australia has Afghanistan to play with as well, right? Still,
Yeah.
so yeah, and knowing Afghanistan's temperament, they could be that sort of bad luck factor for them. And
Yeah.
रुका देते हैं हमारे राशिद भाई गुरबाज भाई रुकवा
अगर
देते हैं इन
राशिद
लोगों
भाई को दिख रही नहीं, खाली बारिश हो रही है उन लोग के मैचेस में.
को चीटिंग है यार मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना ये सीरियसली है इतना अनफेयर है मतलब आई वाज जस्ट मैं आज सोच रहा था यार कितना बुरा दिख रहा होगा ऑस्ट्रेलिया गए खाली टूरिस्ट वीजा दे देना था क्रिकेटर वीजा नहीं देना था इन लोगों को एक टूरिस्ट के जैसे देख के आ जा रहे भाई एक बॉल दे लाइक आई थिंक दे प्लेड वन मैच बेचारे एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसमें भी जो भी हुआ लेकिन I expected like we want to watch cricket and stuff, but अब क्या ही कर सकते हैं अब इसके
स्मॉल
बारे
बॉल
में
फिर
बट
रहे, राशिद भाई नहीं फिर रहे.
राशिद भाई आप मस्जिद में बैठ के बारिश की दुआ कर रहे खाली नहीं होना बोल के because
But
But one thing, Faiz, I do want to mention, like you mentioned about Mitchell Stark. I don't agree with that point. Uh,
one second, Vinay, I'll stop you there. I'm going to talk about Mitchell Stark because I was coming to you with that. So let's go into the eye test.
yeah.
भाई एक
Vinay,
मिनट डाल ले तो मेडिसिन डाल दिया बोलो भाई
Vinay, बोलने से पहले you were completely right and completely wrong about Mitchell Stark at the same time. Completely wrong, right because he got smashed, okay, and he didn't. At times where you wanted him to finish it off, he didn't finish it off. Where you got it wrong was that he still has that Yorker delivery. He has that wicket taking ability, which can get out players and keep Australia in the game. So yeah, go for it.
So I don't think I got completely wrong. So let me clarify that point first.
That's what I'm saying. That
Mitchell
match was
Stark,
आधा आधा हुआ.
Mitchell Stark, he is known for his death bowling. Right, he's known for being that aggressive bowler who bowls those Yorkers, who nails those Yorkers, and that's what he was in the team for. And him bowling a maiden over and then getting hit for 43 runs. So technically, 18 balls, he got hit for 43 runs. And among the 18 balls, one over is maiden. So you have 11 deliveries that he bowled as dot balls. So only five more. So literally, he got hit for 43 runs in 12 balls, 13 balls. Right. And that's not acceptable at his level, at least. So even though he picked up two wickets, I don't think he was convincing enough. I don't think he was something that what we look for. And with the tail there, he is known for that bowling, so he should have bowled better.
वो बात सही है. I agree with you there. I have no argument. But Stark is that type of bowler that उन्हें जो wicket उखाड़ा, like batsman will be wary of that. So he's that type of bowler. He can produce magic like Curtis Camphor. He's been in form in this tournament. I know it was that
Yeah.
one match he killed it, but getting two batsmen out on zero, the impact of the delivery I think will give him that confidence. Yes, he didn't finish it off in the end. He did get hit, but that's the nature of the game. We've seen plenty of bowlers get hit, good bowlers.
even
So
like
I
a
think
someone
he
like
gives a lot
a
of confidence going into the next few games.
yeah, even like if you're gonna take it in terms of getting smashed, even I think there was one over where Josh Hazelwood got smacked for a 6 and a 4. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
situation ऐसा हो गया था कि they had nothing to play for and they had the freedom of like expression. वो expressive batting कर रहा था टक्कर जो लग रहा था उसके बैट से टक्कर लगते कि टक्कर हो जा रहा था तो वो टक्कर टक्कर में it was like that situation where he had nothing. The आओ मारो try करेंगे and everything in his was going in his favor at that point of time. Her shot बेहतरीन, like he had a beautiful six of Hazelwood and वो फोर भी मारा back तो अच्छा अच्छा I mean वो situation में I think Stark को थोड़ा अपन ज्यादा बोल दे रहे, but yeah, for his stature and his level of experience, I think he could have finished it off better.
Should have.
But yeah, still I think उन्हें injury काफी injury prone है, injury से आया भी है, काफी time cricket नहीं खेला, so let's see आगे क्या करता उन्हें.
Yeah, and Vinay, we touched upon Aaron Finch, but I just wanted to get your view on that. This will give him some confidence. Again, it wasn't a smooth innings, but the strike rate was much better today, and he was man of the match. That will really do his confidence a world of good.
Yeah, he looked like the KL Rahul of India today, basically scoring against a good minnow team. And I think it should give him confidence, but hopefully he gets better from where he is at this point because there's a lot of criticism on him right at this point.
There's a lot of
But like to correct you there, Vinay bhai, KL is not the KL Rahul also because KL Rahul didn't even hit against Netherlands. So.
Oh, that was Sajid. That was Sajid from Rohit Sharma.
that was Sazish.
अभी आ
Also,
जाएगा क्या क्या रोहित नहीं
Breaking
है कुछ
news.
केएल से
Give me
क्या
one
रोहित
second.
नहीं है कुछ केएल राहुल से टनन टनन टनन
first Maxwell chipping in with the ball. A couple of
yeah I
couple
was
of
going
good
to say that
wickets.
because he was my fantasy pick but I was so upset when he got out but then yeah he had a good spell that he got two wickets and like went for very minimum runs
Yeah.
Maxwell, I think, still needs to sort of calm himself down on the pitch when he's coming to bat. I think उन्हें वो switch hit के चक्करों में entertain करने में ज़्यादा जा रहा rather than focusing on the situation of the match, which is
हाँ.
putting more pressure on Stoinis. Stoinis actually आके 35 runs कुछ मारा
अच्छा दिख
बेहतरीन
रहा है Stoinis
छक्का.
now. He's looking like the
Yeah.
player to watch out for
Yeah,
now.
he's more aggressive and he's more like focused when compared to a Maxwell. Maxwell looks like खत्म आके खाली try करेंगे नहीं हुआ तो नहीं. But I think Maxwell can actually be a very impactful player if he really gets his stuff together. We've seen that in the past. I think this year and since last year, I don't see him playing so consistently well. But hopefully in going down the tournament, he'll prove us wrong.
The thing for me is
Another
Australia. Yeah.
another similar concern is Warner. The kind of form
Yeah.
Warner is in this tournament, at least. He's been not scoring that many runs, and Cameron Green is knocking on the door. So you never know what change that might be.
वार्नर के दो इनिंग्स भाई मैं बोलूंगा द फर्स्ट दैट साउथी बॉल वाज अनप्लेएबल सो वो तो
Yeah.
अपन एंड द सेकंड टाइम वो जो आउट हुआ वो कैच बहुत अच्छा था.
अनप्लेएबल नहीं उन्हें वो गलती से आउट हो गया वो लाइक किधर इधर लेग बैक पे लग के ऐसा बाउंस
मतलब वही
एंड हिट.
I thought it was a good मैं समझा बहुत अच्छा है. I didn't see the wicket but like लग के आया जो भी अनलकी है. The second time catch अच्छा लिया उन्हें. The catch was very good when the second innings that he got out like his second match. ये टाइम पे he could have done something but नहीं कर पाया. So I say एक innings flawed है but two innings he's just been unlucky.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to mess around too much with Warner right now.
Because fielding में like he's killing it. Like fielding में
Yeah.
गिरा कर रहा है.
Or Warner, you can see him in the field as well. Not only his fielding, his captaincy. Like I mean, he's giving
Experience.
advice. Yeah, he's giving advice to.
His leadership ban is, I think, lifted now.
Yeah. So
Speaking of fielding, वो ने Ireland का boy क्या अच्छा रोका है वो 6.
Yeah,
You see that?
Ireland was.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
an
he was.
impressive effort.
Very, very, very good fielding. But yeah, anything else you want to talk about this game in particular? I think we covered most parts.
What I like about Ireland, to be honest, in this entire tournament, it's not been just one-man show. It's been many players actually chipping in. Like one game it was Balburney, one game it was Curtis Camphor, one game it was Sterling, one game it was Tector. So some like it's a mixed bag of people like clicking, and it's a good positive sign for the cricket itself. Coming to this World Cup and going through the qualifiers and everything, I think it's a good sign that Ireland is coming to their own and getting these good drop-ins and stuff in these games.
Yeah, I think Ireland have always been in that area between Bangladesh and associates, like in that middle
Yeah.
area. And I think if they've been playing a lot of cricket against Afghanistan, Bangladesh, if they can tour a bit more, like if they can go to India, if they can go to South Africa, these kind of countries where there is going to be a big challenge for them, it'll help improve their cricket in that way, for sure. I think
Exactly, yeah.
for different conditions, testing themselves, because in English-Irish conditions, they've really improved. And Australian conditions, yes, maybe it's a different challenge for them, but they've done well in this World Cup. So why not, tour a bit more, play in different conditions, and they will definitely develop. And like Vinay said, they're not banking on one player right now. I always used to think Paul Sterling is their main player, but in this tournament, someone or the other has always chipped in. Today, even in losing cause, the way Tucker played, I think we have to applaud him. Some clean sixes and very good hitting.
And they beat England in their backyard. So when England toured Ireland, that time they beat England. So it's good signs overall for the cricket, and I think it's good for them to actually grow.
सही बात है. Let's go talk about tomorrow. Let's go into our fantasy tips and chips section. कल के दो गेम है. It's Afghanistan versus Sri Lanka and England New Zealand, the massive game as well. Afghanistan Sri Lanka, Faiz versus Vinay. Faiz, you'd give me two Afghani picks. Vinay, you give me two.
First of all, why is it Faiz versus Vinay? Please explain.
Huh?
Please explain why is it Faiz versus Vinay?
I have Afghani roots.
Faiz,
I have Afghani
You
roots.
have Afghani roots, but I don't have any Sri
Faiz is a
Lankan roots.
massive Afghanistan fan. He loves Gurbaz. He's really upset about the rain. And Vinay,
Yeah,
bro,
man.
like,
True
whatever you
that.
say, come on, man. Sri
What,
Lanka.
what, what? Come on, man. What? Just
You
because
don't.
you
You don't
want
want
some,
to.
you're being the Indian media right now, trying to brew
You
up some controversy for no reason.
Man, listen, I've seen you captain a side with the team which I also have played for, and you remind me of Rana Tunga in '96. The way he captained the team,
Just
the way
because I remind you
you stand
doesn't
for
mean I
goal,
support them, right?
and even the way you
Acha,
stand in
acha,
the team.
acha. Vinay bhai,
बड़े
who do you
बड़े
support?
स्टेटमेंट छोड़ रहे तुम.
Uh,
Who do you support, Vinay bhai? Who are you
इंडिया ब्रो.
supporting?
इंडिया.
India.
एनी डे.
अब ये नहीं, ये मैच में बोल.
इस मैच में अफगानिस्तान.
Nah.
okay,
Musti
पूरा.
had made Sri Lanka the Arsenal of Premier League right now for me.
but listen,
वाकई.
Sri Lanka again. These guys, there's the ambulance outside the hotel in terms of injuries. These guys have been the most unlucky team.
Yeah.
कोई ना कोई injure होते जा रहा हर match में, and but they're still fighting. They're still fighting.
मजाक नहीं करो, अभी भी जयसूर्या फिट है. जयसूर्या रोड सेफ्टी में बहुत जबरदस्त 40 रन मारा. ला लो जयसूर्या को वापस.
उनका
अरे
मेरा ही
कल भी
नहीं
तो
है.
राणा भी फिट है वैसे तो. वो भी बहुत रन मारता.
जयवर्धना तो डगआउट में ही है भाई. संगकारा
This
कमेंट्री
is
बॉक्स में आया था.
Asia Cup में I think it was 1-1, right? Afghanistan Sri Lanka. They
Yeah.
played each other twice.
First
And
game Afghanistan won, second game Sri Lanka won.
Vinay, give me your 2 picks from Sri Lanka.
I'm gonna go Kumara, Lahiru Kumara,
Yeah.
and I am gonna go Dhananjay De Silva.
Good shout. Faiz, Afghanistan से.
अफगानिस्तान से तो
भाई
अपना
मेरे से क्यों नहीं
obviously.
पूछे तुम अफगानिस्तान से?
मैं split कर रहा हूँ because फिर
ये
सब
split
overlap
क्यों
हो
कर?
रहा है. I don't know why.
तुम
अच्छा,
उनसे
विनय भाई,
श्रीलंका का पूछो, मैं अफगानिस्तान
अच्छा,
का
मेरी
split
बात
क्यों
सुनो,
कर रहे
सुन
तुम?
रही नहीं बात. मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, हम लोग जब करते हैं हम सब बोलते हैं फिर एक ना एक चल जाता है, and then think now I just want two picks to make it more
तुम
difficult to
रेशियल
predict.
बायस कर रहे
मैं भी
तुम.
तू ले
तुम
ले
बहुत
तू.
रेशियल बायस कर रहे हो शो
अरे
पे.
नहीं, it's because 4 प्लेयर
इवन
पिक
आउट
करना
कर
है.
रहे हैं.
हाँ, 4 प्लेयर पिक करना है. अगर तुम भी 4 पिक कर लिए, उन्हें भी 4 पिक कर लिए, 8 प्लेयर हो गए, वहीं से एक ना एक तो परफॉर्म करना है. So let's
क्या है और
cut out probability.
वो पार्ट तक क्या है भूल जाते हैं. आप कौन पिक करे, मैं कौन पिक करा. अभी क्या है याद है आप कौन पिक करे बोल के.
Vinay said Dhananjay De Silva and Lahiru Kumara. Faiz, go.
I say Rashid Khan, and I'm going to go Nabi bhai, because Nabi has, as
You
the Don
go with the
bola
big
tha,
players, huh?
yeah, with the big players, because it's time for them to step up and step out of the rain, hopefully into the sunshine, baby.
And also, Faiz, these two have played in Australia. They play in the Big Bash. They have their experience, and they will be sharing the knowledge with the other players.
Yeah.
But as spinners, do you think they will be as effective against Sri Lanka, who do play spin relatively well?
Yeah, because see, you've just said that they're very well experienced. They know how to sort of play according to the situation and the grounds in Australia. I think that's something that they'll have an upper hand when compared to a Sri Lankan side, right? Sri Lanka has not played that much when compared to a Nabi or thing. I'm not saying 2 people will outplay 11 people, but in terms of experience and knowledge, they'll be able to sort of capitalize on them and bowl in the right areas and hopefully get those top edges and sort of get them to hit into the deep and get caught in the deep. As we've been seeing throughout this tournament, most of the spinners are able to do that. Like even Tikshana, most of the wicket of Tikshana we're seeing from Sri Lanka, and that guy my fantasy pick. I pick kar liya bhai, Vinay, tension na kolo. Tikshana mera boy hai.
And we'll move on to the next game. Over here also, Vinay, I'm splitting it. I mean, you're not going to do both teams. Vinay, you do New Zealand, and Faiz, you do England. So Vinay, I'll come to you first. So New Zealand, give me your 2 fantasy picks.
New Zealand, I'm gonna go Devon Conway and my boy Lockie Ferguson.
नहीं वैसा नहीं बोलना आप बोलना remember the name Lockie Ferguson.
Vinay क्या बोल रहा था उधर? Ferguson, then my pick, bro. Trent Bolt. Right now, Vinay is 2-1. Me versus you, bro. 2-1.
Bro, Lockie brings the pace, he brings the excitement, he brings everything. Trent Bolt आके दो ओवर करा के चला.
Last match he bought the runs also.
पूरा कमर Trent Bolt तोड़ता. फिर Ferguson just comes and wipes it all up. पूरा like he sets up the whole game for the team with Trent Bolt.
डर बिठाता basically.
हाँ.
डर बिठाता बोल्ट उन्हें आके उसका
डर
फायदा
बिठा-
ले लेता.
Yeah.
डर
No,
बिठा था लॉकी with the space.
Vinay, देखो, Vinay, I agree with you. I not agree with you. I respect that you sticking to your boys because they're good players, and you didn't go with like people who are currently performing. You're taking a bit of a risk, and
Yeah.
I like that. You could have, but remember, my boy Glenn Phillips, I did pick him last time. Vinay, you hate that. कोई मैसेज नहीं आता विनय का. जब विनय राइट रहता पूरा सब दुनिया को मालूम रहता विनय क्या पिक करा. Vinay. But yeah, I think those are good picks. Faz from England, who are we looking at, bro?
अच्छा न्यूजीलैंड नहीं करे, अच्छा अलग अलग
Right.
कर रहे.
हाँ.
I think I'm gonna go with your boy Musti, Ben Stokes. I think Ben
Yeah.
Stokes करेंगा कुछ तो भी धमाल. And I think वो relive होगा वो इंग्लैंड न्यूजीलैंड का फाइनल 2019 का, अभी भी होगा दिल में दोनों के साइड्स में के भाई ना चीटिंग करके जीते. नहीं बोल रहे वो रन कंप्लीट नहीं करे वो. They didn't complete that run and they still managed to lift the World Cup. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ben Stokes and probably I'm gonna go with Josh Butler. I'm expecting Josh Butler to sort of step up because based on his press conference that he gave, उन्हें बोला था this is not acceptable और मैं भी कुछ नहीं करूँ. I think Josh Butler and Ben Stokes.
विनय खाली हाँ या ना जवाब दो. तुम साइमन करन का सोच रहे थे नहीं सोच रहे थे?
Of course, Sam Curran. Of course,
PewDiePie Sam Curran.
CSK roots, bro. CSK roots. Of course, I'm gonna go Sam Curran.
Faz going with big players. Vinay going a bit differential. So those are your picks for from tomorrow's game. I think all four are good picks. It'll be interesting to see what happens. हाँ फैज कुछ बोलने वाले थे?
आपका पिक क्या है भाई? आप ही नहीं बोल रहे.
अरे मैं बोल दिया तो पूरा वो हो जाता है. Probability कम होता जाता है. You have to keep it like that.
आप ले लो केन विलियमसन ले लो. Probability बहुत कम है.
वही बोल रहा हूँ. अब देखो कल क्या हुआ. मैं फिंच और स्टोइनिस ऐसे ही बोल दिया मैं. तो I got it right. Like you know, मगर at least
11 प्लेयर है यार वो. मिल बांट के खाएंगे भाई. 11
I
प्लेयर.
only went Finch because everybody else went all the other players and they left him out. So I took him.
Ryan said Warner and like no, I didn't say Warner.
Ryan आया वापस चेल्सी के उस लॉस के बाद.
Yeah, but Ryan is very chilled out like that. He takes it on the chin. He's
Fit.
not.
गोल खाए ना 4 खाए ना तो 4 दिन लगेंगे उसको आने में.
4 दिन लगेंगे.
No, but yeah, Chelsea, Liverpool, both big losses on the.
अरे Vinay bhai, what about England players? अच्छा, you said Chennai CSK boys.
No, Vinay, I'm not asking you. इन्होंने शुरू हो जाता कल. I got it right.
नहीं. मैं कुछ और बोलने वाला. रुक जाओ. सुन लो. I feel that Afghanistan should play KS Ahmed over Omarzai just for tomorrow's game.
Vinay, you know, I met him in Sharjah, Qais Ahmed. He was sitting in the stands for that Afghanistan-Pakistan game, and it was interesting to meet him and stuff. Like, he's very knowledgeable about the game, and it's not, like, I didn't ask him personal stuff or anything, but the way he was reading the game, that Afghanistan-Pakistan game, it shows that he has a cricketing brain on him. So as a bowler, I'm sure, like, he'll have some...
And he has vast experience in Australia. He has been playing BBL a lot, so he has vast experience in Australia. So I think they should give him a look in for this game. And also for New Zealand's team, I think they might bring in Michael Bracewell for this game, just because England has a lot of left-handers.
In place of?
Would they make that change now?
Sodhi?
I hope it's Sodhi, but it might be Santner.
But both of them have been bowling really well.
Yeah, but think about the number of lefties that England have. You have David Malan, you have Boyne.
No,
it's a good shout. It's a good shout because 4 तुम्हारे lefties हैं उस team में, right? And these are your mainstays.
मेरे को पसंद नहीं है मैचअप वाला. मेरे को तो ओवररेटेड दिखता है. लाइक यू नो मैचअप करके पूरा टीम बैलेंस चेंज कर दो. जो 2 अच्छे प्लेयर खेल रहे हैं उनको खेलने दो. आई नो पिट सकते, वैसा नहीं हो. मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि तुम गलत बोल रहे हो, बट डू यू एक्चुअली थिंक इट्स व्हेन 2 प्लेयर्स आर इन फॉर्म. फॉर एग्जांपल अब हम खेल रहे हैं लाइक अगेंस्ट अ टीम. तुम 5 विकेट लिए पहले लाइक एक गेम में मैं तुम्हारे को बिठा दिया बिकॉज़ देयर इज 4 लेफ्ट हैंडर्स. आई एम जस्ट सेइंग डू यू बिलीव इन दैट एक्चुअली? डू यू थिंक इट्स लाइक अ थिंग स्पेशली व्हेन द 2 bowlers are in form?
That's a good counterpoint when 2 bowlers are involved. But the thing is, he is someone that has been performing. It's been unfair on him that he's not been picked up. Right, Michael Bracewell in the last year, he's been performing really well with the bat and the ball. Right, and these are the sort of games where you can actually bring in someone like him, where he could actually change the game itself for them. Right,
But
these are big grounds.
हाँ बोले बोले finish
These
finish.
are big grounds, so this can be in their favor. It can also backfire. Absolutely, that's definitely the case. Like, you never know. Like, being Ashwin, like he came in, he got smashed in the last game and stuff, right? So definitely he's something. It's a good shout in terms of him getting a look in, but you never know.
मेरा क्या है मालूम इसमें, इट्स बिकॉज बड़े मैच में वो सेमीफाइनल्स फाइनल्स में यू विल वांट टू प्ले योर बिग प्लेयर्स, सो व्हिच इज सोदी एंड
Yeah.
सैटनर, सो आई वांट देम टू बी टेस्टेड आउट इन दिस, इफ दिस इज अ चैलेंज फॉर देम bowling to the left handers, I think they should take that challenge. And you're right with the angle, maybe Karan जाके तीन छक्के मार देता या Ben Stokes मार दे सकता, but I want them to, as a captain, I will want them to be in that position because semi-final final में कोई भी आ सकता है. They
Yeah.
might play India, and Akshar Patel might come and start hitting. We don't know. Like even
Yeah.
though India only has one or two lefties in their team, so that's why I want these guys to be in that channel. That's how I look at it. But Vinay, you have a point as well. Faiz, बोलिए.
ये गेम ऐसा सच है कि भाई वो तो कभी भी हो सकता है लेफ्ट राइट. आई डोंट लाइक आई एम विद मुस्तफा ऑन दिस, लेफ्ट राइट थिंग डजंट मेक अ लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंस फॉर मी. एक्सपीरियंस इनफ फिशोदी भी है, सैंटनर भी है, एंड ये टाइम पे जब आपका सबसे टीम अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहा है एंड एक कोर बना के चलो, अननेसेसरी चेंजेस करके फिर इट विल ऑलवेज कम डाउन टू अरे वो चेंज नहीं करते थे तो वाला सवाल. यू सेड इट कुड बैकफायर. व्हाई टेक दैट रिस्क जब अच्छी एक टीम चल रही है? हाँ, चलती हुई टीम अगर हारी देन अपन कुछ करेंगे. अभी जैसा टीम चल रहा है happen. So that's my point. Ke, I think said team could never disturb it unless or until there's like an injury or there's like something where कुछ गिच्ची दिख रही.
ऐसा कल अक्षर पटेल को बिठा दिया वो चक्कर में और दीपक हुडा को खिलाया.
I don't know why that happened. I still
Exactly.
can't
That's
believe
why
that.
it happened. Exactly why you said, like,
Yeah.
they,
Matchups, yeah.
they
But
didn't
then
want
you
him to
already
play.
have an off spinner. Deepak Huda again an off spinner. I don't think he didn't even get a bowl in, right? Compared to
वही बोले कि अक्षर पटेल को भी नहीं देंगे bowling because left handers है, तो as a batsman we prefer Deepak Huda. This is what I'm assuming what happened in the
it's like a combination of like basically overthinking and trying to be too smart. वो दो चीजें
Yeah,
करते हैं. ओवर स्मार्ट like Pep Guardiola का जो कभी कभी उन्हें हाउली टीम निकाल के रख देता जब आपकी टीम जीत रही.
no DM in the
कभी
Champions League final, bro.
Yeah, फिर आई मीन चुप के आप चेंजा करके खराब कर देते, मोरल ये चले आता, फिर अरे कहीं को हार रहे हैं और सोच सोच के आप और पिंडे मिल जाते. तो जहाँ पे प्लेयरों को चेंज करना है, केएल राहुल है उसको नहीं चेंज करके आप अक्षर पटेल जो 2 विकेट पहले मैच में 2 विकेट ले चुका था, ही सोक्ड अप द एटमॉस्फेयर, अभी अब्सॉर्ब कर चुका है ऑस्ट्रेलिया के कंडीशंस. तो आई थिंक थोड़ा बहुत डिफरेंस रहता उसमें.
And the final part in this section, prediction for tomorrow, Fez.
I'm saying Afghanistan, inshallah. Afghanistan has a point to prove and they're playing cricket after a long time. अच्छा खासा break मिल चुका है, fresh है, पावा दौड़ेंगे शेरों के जैसे मेरा भाया. And I feel New Zealand will beat England.
New Zealand will win.
New Zealand will win tomorrow.
Vinay.
I'm gonna go on New Zealand and Afghanistan.
मैं बोलने वाला था. This is peer pressure, everybody. This is peer pressure. I'm a bad influence on Vinay. Vinay's head was saying Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka. He saw my face and he changed it.
You ruined FPL. You ruined EPL, and you ruined cricket for me in many ways.
This is why we love
things don't go south with Vinay, they go north because Afghanistan को चलेंगे सीधा.
They go north. Okay, Fez, this is your favorite section of the episode. Let's go fresh off the press. पहला खबर यह है कि विराट कोहली के कमरे में उसके कपड़ों का पर्सनल चीज, बाथरूम में क्या है, इधर क्या है, उधर क्या है. It was all clear, but he shared that post. I didn't read the caption. I'm like, oh, cool. Maybe it was his friend who shot it. So I was looking at the whole thing. Oh, nice. He packed the kids. But he posted it like showing that no one took permission from him for that video, and he was very upset about that.
It looked
Yeah.
like the hotel. It looked like the hotel staff because दो पोटे टॉक्सीडो में दिख रहे थे मेरे को जहां तक मेरी नजर गई. बट मैं इतना इम्प्रेस क्या हुआ, इतने शीशियां थे यार उनके टेबल पे, कितना जिला पीता है उन्हें, ये जड़ी बूटी वो जड़ी बूटी दिख रही थी खाली. बट या इट्स एन क्लियर इन्वेजन ऑफ प्राइवेसी यार. लोगों को शर्म नहीं वहां पे भी जाके ऐसे हरकतें कर रहे. वहां पे भी नाम खराब हो जा रहा है. हर जगह अपन जाने के काबिल नहीं रह रहे कहीं भी इंडिया वाले. तो I mean ये हरकत करना उन्हें बेचारा, he'll obviously call that out because an invasion of his privacy, but people really need to understand that there is a line that you don't cross, and clearly not the line of their hotel room, of course. And वहाँ पे चड्डियाँ पड़े हुए होंगे, वहाँ अच्छा साफ सुथरा रखा वो अलग बात है, लेकिन कुछ प्राइवेसी नाम की चीज नहीं रखे यार.
Yeah, like I saw a funny comment कोई बोल रहे थे I think WhatsApp पे कि yeah that is completely wrong, they should have given him a suite बोल के. But you know Vinay, like honestly, like it's overexcitement, someone did it, and you know it was a mistake, but shouldn't have done that. But like, you know, there's nothing wrong in that video, and you know, it just shows like Virat Kohli, like. But imagine if it was somebody else, or like, you know, कुछ गलत दिख गया तो फिर बहुत like stupid news बन जाता वो.
भाई सोचो अगर वसीम के कमरे में जाते थे और कुछ और दिखता था. I'm just saying भाई, मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ भाई, एयर ऑफ सोशल मीडिया में समझ सकता हूँ, आई अंडरस्टैंड कि भाई आपको लाइक सब्सक्राइब ये होना है, लेकिन एक लिमिट रहती है भाई. एक थोड़ा आदमी का क्या लेवल है उसके कमरे में. एंड आई थिंक इट वाज द होटल पीपल, एंड आई थिंक आई एम प्रीटी श्योर द होटल पीपल मस्ट हैव फायर्ड दोस गाइस इफ दे वर फ्रॉम द होटल. एटलीस्ट कुछ तो एक्शन लेंगे. तो एंड विनय भाई आप बोलिए आपका क्या विचार है.
This has happened previously, and no, not to me, someone else. But what had happened was invasion of privacy, same thing. And one player had the sponsorship with Nike, and he had some stuff with Adidas in his room. And the sponsorship deal got cancelled, and there was huge loss for that player, and mentally and things had changed a lot and stuff. So there are those kind of possibilities as well, right? And that's why privacy is very important, especially, and that's the only thing that you have in these tools or anything as a player. That's the only thing that you keep with yourself. So it's definitely something, it might play on their minds and stuff, but hopefully since there was nothing wrong in whatever was shown and stuff, I think it would have been downsized to what it was actually meant for.
भाई सबसे बड़ी बात उसका वॉलेट, उसके पर्सनल चीजें कौन चोरी करे, क्या चोरी करे, as him being outside of the room at that point of time, that adds unnecessary stress to him on the ground also.
Exactly.
I might be taking it too much, but I mean थोड़ा threat to security अगर रहा आपको, तो obviously पहले तो आप इतने बड़े
अभी कंट्रोवर्सी नहीं बना इस वजह से ठीक है. अगर ये कंट्रोवर्सी हो जाता,
he played it very well. I think from Virat Kohli's level he's played it so like politely but at the same time firm, and वो perfect mix है कि भाई आप you know एक तरीके में आप समझा दिए कि भाई ये जरा गलत है. आपके प्लेयर है, आपके कंट्री का प्लेयर हूँ, but that doesn't mean कि इतना भी फ्री जा.
He could have just asked the guy to like deleted, and it could have been like a fake video बोल के कुछ बोल दे सकते थे, whatever. But he took it like you know, he took it seriously and he explained it well. Hafiz.
The thing is that you know it is because him doing that, why it is good, because आज इसके साथ हुआ, कल किसके भी साथ हो सकता. कल धोनी के कमरे में घुस सकते, इतने एथलीट्स है, एंड अदर हाउ कहीं भी घुस गए, सचिन के पास घुस गए, you know कहीं भी घुस सकते. तो I mean the point is कि भाई I think that is why it was necessary to do that, so that everybody and other athletes are protected at the same time.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because also, like Fez, like you said, you know, he has so many. So much pressure already, like you know, focusing on the cricket and everything, unnecessary आप topic निकाल रहे. It doesn't bode well, and yeah, hopefully we don't get to see anything like that. I wanted to say something about that more, but I completely forgot. Vinay, और कुछ है ताजा खबरी?
ताजा खबर बहुत अच्छी खबर है. ओनर बहुत खुश हो जाएंगे ये खबर से.
बोलो.
उर्वशी रौतेला में जो आरपी होता, वो आरपी ऋषभ पंत नहीं होना.
5 दिन पहले वाला वो कर रहे उन्होंने.
रामपति ने नहीं नाम. मैं तो आज ही पढ़ा ना भाई, मैं तो आज ही फ्रेश ऑफ द न्यू प्रेस पढ़ा ना भाई. तो वो बहुत बड़ी खबर है मेरे लिए.
वो कौन है? राम पुट्टी नहीं है, कौन है, मतलब क्या है इसका नाम?
ये कोई साउथ इंडियन एक्टर है भाई. अभी कोई साउथ इंडियन
हैदराबाद का है,
मूवी है कर रही हम्म
हैदराबाद का है।
या
नहीं,
साउथ
आई
इंडियन
थिंक
एक्टर, तमिल तेलुगु
तमिल में होगा।
हम
जो भी
चला
है।
रहे हैं।
ताजा खबर ये है भाई मेरे, जो मैं बहुत स्टार्ट में आप और डॉन को पूछा था मुस्तफा भाई, एक प्लेयर आ गया है वापस स्क्वाड में इंडिया के। उमरान मलिक आ गया है वापस स्क्वाड में। अब आप बोलो ताजा खबर वो नहीं है या क्या है? उमरान मलिक इन द टी
किसकी
ट्वेंटी
जगह में
स्क्वाड
है?
फॉर न्यूजीलैंड।
और
न्यूजीलैंड के स्क्वाड में भाई।
न्यूजीलैंड में।
न्यूजीलैंड में
आज
है।
अनाउंस हुआ ना, आज अनाउंस हो गया उन्हें, फाइनली उसको जगह मिल गई। मेरे को तो बहुत खुशी हो रही, बिकॉज आई कैन वेट फॉर हिम टू बी दैट एक्सप्लोसिव bowler that he is and overtake all of these guys except Arshdeep and Shami.
I was
Arshdeep my boy
actually
now.
really happy for Kuldeep Singh to get a look in, Shahbaz Ahmed and Yash Dayal.
Yeah.
What about
Yash
Lamtyal?
Dayal also coming into, he's an outsider. He first time performed in IPL and coming into India squad. I think it's a good look in for him, and I think India is trying to invest more in the left arm pacers, so giving more competition to Arshdeep. So that's why I
Hossein
think
Khan is
Yash,
someone as well. I think
yeah,
he's going to be coming in soon as
in
well.
the
He
reckoning,
looks
yes,
very talented, and a lot of ex cricketers have really praised him as well. So watch out for Hossein
exactly.
Khan
Yeah,
in that.
he's also might be getting a look in, as well as I was sad to not see Prithvi Shaw getting a look in.
Yeah.
Right, he didn't get a look in, and I was surprised to see Rahul being the vice captain for test squad. They go to Bangladesh.
I'm surprised
With
to see
Rohit
Rahul.
Sharma.
I'm always surprised to see Rahul. बट नहीं, अभी
Vinny,
टेस्ट टेस्ट के हिसाब से तो खेलेगा वो, टेस्ट में अच्छा है वो, टेस्ट
Vinny
खेलेगा
test
वो।
में उसको नहीं लिए सरफराज को. Do you think that's a bit harsh?
Harsh, yes, he's been having an amazing season, like top scorer in Ranji Trophy for the last 2 years. He's been even for the India A games and stuff. He's been scoring hell lot of runs. Mumbai ka main banda, and he's been like what he comes at 5 down and stuff. Sorry, 3 down and stuff, and then he scores those many runs, and it's just an amazing feat. And I think he should have gotten a look in. I understand he has some fitness issues and stuff, but I think he should have gotten a look in compared to certain other players that are already there in the squad.
Also, tomorrow, do we have clear skies for the games?
अफगानिस्तान वाला गेम ब्रिस्बेन में है ना?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Gabba.
दोनों भी वही हैं।
अच्छा, ब्रिस्बेन में there is little bit of shower, but
बंद कर
सुबह
देंगे टैप, टैप बंद कर
टैब
देंगे।
बंद करना बिल्कुल. There is little bit of shower, but
Adelaide में भी बता रहा बारिश, Faiz, India versus Bangladesh.
देखो
नहीं यार, वो अगर बांग्लादेश का ड्रॉ हो गया तो बहुत टेंशन हो जाएगा, बिकॉज़ सिकंदर भाई विल कम इन द लास्ट एंड सिक्कू भाई।
जिम्बाब्वे अगर इंडिया का निकाल दिया, फोन बंद कर दो पूरे.
भाई फोन छोड़ दो, मैं छोड़ दो भाई, मैं इतनी खुशी कर कल तक मैं अफसोस कर रहा था सिकंदर होता, लाइक जिम्बाब्वे लॉस्ट अगेंस्ट बांग्लादेश, बट अगर जीत जाते थे तो भाई सोचे 2 दिन बारिश हो गई तो खत्म, बल्ले बल्ले चलो इंडिया वापस।
but Wednesday को है ना गेम?
Yeah.
Wednesday को रेन प्रेडिक्शन नहीं है.
एडिलेड पे
बात-
लेकिन
विनय, मैं अगर कल फिर से I'm going to come to you with this because यहाँ पे चेंज होते रहता है ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, so I'll come back
हाँ,
to you.
वो तो होता रहता. आज एडिलेड में बारिश है, ट्यूसडे बारिश है, वेडनेसडे नहीं है, थर्सडे बारिश है, तो कुछ भी हो सकता
मगर ये बारिश इफेक्ट हो सकता है आउटफील्ड को.
है. It can, like they don't have the best of ground. Like MCG is really good in terms of drainage. I don't
मैच
think
डिले
Adelaide
ड्यू
and
टू
stuff.
वेट आउटफील्ड अगर दिख गया तो क्रिकेट इन्फो पे.
क्या पता, कुछ भी हो सकता.
देखो
Vinay,
अच्छा
keep
अच्छा
us
सोचो,
posted
अच्छा
on
अच्छा
that.
होगा।
We need the every minute prediction tomorrow with the weather.
देखो विनय भाई, अभी से पानी पीना शुरू कर दिया तो कलेक्ट कर लो पानी, रेन वाटर।
Yeah, I think hopefully tomorrow we get to see both games. And again, हर 2 मिनट बारिश का ही प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है every 2 days. So I think I just hope the weather stays clear in that way.
Yeah.
Is there any other news that you guys wanted to discuss? Anything that you heard from the World Cup or from anything? Vinay, let me ask you. We already discussed a couple things from the India-South Africa game. First of all, your opinion on that game, because off record you did mention that this was like a poor performance. They looked like they didn't want to win, but for me it was just they made very bad mistakes. So, like, if you can just discuss that game a bit and your thoughts on the performance.
I didn't think they took it seriously, to be honest. Like
Do you
the
think the South
intent.
Africa played really well?
No, I didn't feel the intent was there. To be honest, like in the game, the body language didn't show the intent. Everyone was very casual, right? Everyone was as if they. I understand they won a really good game against Pakistan, but it was very casual approach that India
I
had.
think it
Is
became
what I
casual towards the end. In the beginning, they were pumped when Arshdeep was getting those
even
wickets. Virat
even
was
at the
flying
start.
all over.
I don't think so. Like you could easily see like in the dugout and everything, they were all smiles and everything when they were in these dire straits and stuff. It wasn't a convincing kind of attitude or anything that India typically shows in these kind of games. Like main games, they do show more intent. I felt that the intent was missing a lot.
I thought the intent was missing. Yeah, I also feel that, like, made mistakes in the field. They were sloppy, so you could put that down to.
Even with the mistakes, they never really tried to cover those mistakes. They just kept bowling wherever they want. Like there was no discipline I felt in this game that India showed. Like especially the senior cricketers, I was very disappointed with all the senior cricketers. Like that catch, the run out, right, and then getting hit for those runs. Like your experienced bowlers and stuff, and I don't know. Like it was a very lackluster performance for me.
Rohit
Yeah.
Sharma's captaincy, the giving Ashwin that over, there was a lot of debate about that. I felt that it was an okay, like the correct call,
It
but
was an okay call. Like I mentioned in the group also with you, Musti, is Ashwin going to do a Nawaz, basically bowling the last over. So Rohit Sharma calculated that probably and brought him earlier, but otherwise he would have bowled the last over, right?
yeah.
If they had bowled someone else. So at the end of the day, it was going to happen. It just need to know when it was going to happen and stuff. And I think they should have stuck with their guns. They should have like gone with what their strength is. Getting 1 over in between, like with Huda and stuff. He gave him a over, 1 over 5 runs, but either if Ashwin is struggling, then might as well continue with him and stuff. And those fast bowlers, I don't think he rotated them properly. I think in between when the partnership was going and when the runs were not flowing, I think they should have bowled all the spinners right then and there, like bowl in tandem between Huda and Ashwin, get those 4 overs quickly, and then have the pressure again based on the fast bowlers.
Yep. Let's go into our last segment and wrap this show up. Tomorrow's the big game, New Zealand versus England. We already talked about the fantasy picks, but let's go into a bit more tactics and strategies. This is the captain's corner. So normally this would have been a Morgan versus Williamson game, but it's Josh Butler versus Williamson. Williamson, the more shrewder captain, more experienced captain, more successful so far. Josh Butler, his captaincy has been under scrutiny. He did lose series against India at home. He lost a series against South Africa at home as well, the T20 series, and now he's lost a game against Ireland. There'll be a lot of pressure on him. Fez, what are you expecting from him? Do you think he's relying a bit too much on his star players, and there's not that many tactics involved in terms of bowling changes, even the batting order? Do you think it's just that he's going with a certain template and relying on some individual brilliance?
You could say that as fair enough call because see, in the first match we saw Sam Curran take those 5 wickets. Then second match, someone has stepped up for him. So I mean, till now we haven't seen in terms of strategy, we haven't really seen him with a game plan. It's just go with the flow. What's happening around the match according to the situation, we'll deal with it. In terms of you look at the other side where you perfectly described Williams with the more experience and the calmer nature. He's always perfectly rotating, despite anyone sort of taking more wickets and stuff. He's not getting sort of carried away with that situation. He's trying to see what's the best option at that point of time. उसके हिसाब से spinner ला ले रहा, Santner को शरी से ला रहा. इस Sodhi को he's playing very smartly in the middle where he's sort of where we know Isodi sort of gets smacked, but even Isodi's turned out to be more economical this World Cup, right? So I think for Josh Butler, it would be really about time to sort of understand what he needs in terms of at what time he needs who to sort of step up, rather than just relying on them to step up. You know what I mean? So I think he'll be coming out with the game plan to sort of jeopardize what New Zealand's run has been right now, and hopefully we see him coming more aggressively rather than being waiting for what the players are going to show him.
Vinay, your thoughts on
For
this?
me, Butler, I think he's neither a aggressive captain nor he's one of the calmer captains. He's somewhere in between. and that's where he's getting a little stuck with the current mindset that England have. I think they are ought to play more ruthless cricket, and I think that's where Butler has to go with the team when the team is kind of wanting to play that ruthless cricket. I think he's being that influence where he's not able to
Safety.
succeed in that kind of atmosphere that the team management has at this point. Like with the baseball, like you see Ben Stokes being that aggressive captain, it helps England a lot, especially in test matches and stuff. And the contrary to that, Josh Butler, he's very quiet in that sense, and I think that's what the team management needs to kind of focus on what kind of cricket they want to play.
And Vinay, if you look at tomorrow's game in particular, Tim Sadhi versus Tim Sadhi and Bolt versus Butler. Now Butler already as a captain, he has to look at his bowling changes and everything. But as a batsman, does he pick Phil Salt as his new opening pair? Does he stick with Alex Hales? And also, how does he approach this power play? Does he play his natural game? Does he be a bit more responsible? Because these two are known to break the opposition in the power play.
Yeah, I think England is going to take the conservative approach of not making too many changes because they are in the back foot at this point. They have lost a game against Ireland, so they are on the back foot. So I don't think they're going to bring in Phil Salt for Alex Hales. However, they need to just
But that's
come
when you do
together.
make changes, right? When you're on the back foot, when someone's not performing.
Yes, but right now the situation is like if they it's a win or lose, and they might not want to try someone new, and they might want to go with the combination that they already have in place. Right? They might not want to change many things, and that could either lead to a positive effect or a negative effect. But I think Josh Butler, being a conservative kind of captain, I don't think he's going to make that tough call at this point, and he's going to stick with the team that he already has.
Fez, would you like to see Phil Salt there opening the batting, or you'd stick with Alex Hales?
No, I think I'll stick with Hales because, like Vinay mentioned, like for New England, this is a do or die. It's kind of a do or die for them, right? If they don't do it, then there's more pressure on them on the next game. So I
And they're
think,
playing Sri Lanka, right? England
and
after this.
they're playing Sri Lanka or Afghanistan. No,
They
Afghanistan or
already
Pakistan.
they beat Afghanistan. So they're
England
gonna
plays Sri Lanka.
play Sri Lanka. So these are two.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, New Zealand game is very tough, and Sri Lanka game could be tricky. It's not going to be easy for England to qualify. And Fez, continue the
Yeah, so
argument.
like I was saying, like I mean, comparing an Alex Hale to a Phil Salt, I think Phil Salt is not that experienced in T20 internationals as well, and Alex has been performing quite well. We've seen him, giving them good starts, and they have good chemistry when it's Josh Butler and him, the running between the wickets, and like you mentioned, the power play has to be on par with they sort of break out. That is, I think, where New Zealand will be very careful, but England has to be more aggressive, like Vinay also mentioned. That in that power play, if they were able to get like a nice 60 to 50 odd run partnership, then it'll be a very good start for them. So I think I won't change much because, like I said, I always go with the set team. Yes, there have been losses and stuff, but it's not been something that you can point it on one particular player in terms of England's team. But yeah, I won't change much.
Yeah, I think you could go either way. It's just a 50-50 decision because Alex Hales, like you guys mentioned rightly, that he has the experience. He's scored some big innings in the T20 game. And in a big match situation, you want someone more experienced than the inexperienced one. Phil Salt, maybe one thing would be that, him and Butler have this chemistry. They played Lancashire together. They played in the Manchester Originals. They understand each other's game. So that could be something. And you probably take Caboto, so a risk in that way and try something different. But yeah, like you could go either way. 50-50, 19-20 ka farak in that
Yeah.
way.
And I just read the news. Sorry, we didn't talk about this. Hazratullah Zazai is injured, and he's been
Injured.
replaced by Gulbuddin Naib.
Cool, but dude, that's a big loss, man. Hazratullah Zaizai,
Yeah.
So
him
I don't
and,
know who's going to open with Gurbaz now.
yeah, him and Gurbaz have been outstanding together. They have that left-hand, right-hand combination. They run well between the wickets. One guy attacks, one guy. They understand their game basically. But
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know right now who's going to
Rashid Bhai ko
basically.
kara do opening pinch hitter, baby.
Kisko?
Rashid
Rashid
Bhai
Bhai
ko
go.
kara do
Oh,
pinch hitter.
Rashid Bhai.
Nabi is an
So
option as well. If you
Yeah, I
want
was
to
they
going
go.
to
have
say Nabi.
Usman Ghani or Ibrahim Zadran.
Ibrahim
They
Zadran
might,
is one down. You could push him up. You're saying.
yeah, they can push him up. Maybe I don't know what's going to happen. Like that's
I
a
would
big
like to
loss
see a
for them.
pinch hitter in that role, just
Yeah.
because try something different against Sri Lanka. Go against the
I
obvious and go
They
for
also
it.
have, I think, some other play called I don't know, Rasuli. I think Darvish Rasuli or someone. They have him also in the squad as an opener batsman option, so I think they could go with him. And he has considerable experience as well, if I'm not wrong, because बहुत time पहले उसके नाम पढ़ा था मैं. But yeah, I like what Mustafa said. I was going to say the same thing, that Nabi could probably step up and take time and sort of set himself from the beginning,
Yeah.
and sort of play a good innings. But the main thing for Afghanistan is to sort of get through those first 10 overs, because they tend to lose a lot of wickets in the early hours of the game. So I think वो है कि भाई अगर wicket बचा के खेले तो अच्छा रहेगा उन लोगों के लिए.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
100%.
परंजल भाई कहीं को रो रहे मुस्तफा भाई, तरह पूछो परंजल
नहीं,
भाई
follow
कहीं
that.
परंजल यादव जी क्यों रो रहे हैं
Shukriya,
आप
Pranjal
अभी
bhai,
भी.
for joining us. Thank you so much. Make sure you like and subscribe and stay tuned every day, bro. But yeah, that concludes the conversation for today. I think we discussed quite a few things. Do you guys have any questions or anything that you want to discuss?
No,
Nothing, just keep
hopefully
praying
rain
about the
doesn't
rain.
play a spoil
Yes,
sport.
rain doesn't play a part. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully the rain doesn't play a spoil sport. That England New Zealand game, two aggressive pairs, Conway and Finn Allen, really excited
Yeah.
versus Bottler and probably Hales. That might be the deciding factor in this game. Whoever makes the most of the power play. Really excited to see
What
a
about
good.
Livingston?
Livingston था. What about Livingston?
What about Livingston, man?
Livingston, baby. Look at him tomorrow.
But
Clear
but
to
I'm
watch
gonna
it.
remember. I'm just remembering Lockie Ferguson. That's it. But
Yeah.
इतना नहीं build up करेंगे, because last time on Australia England को बोल रहे थे this is going to be a deciding factor. ये देखे तो बारिश हो गई पूरी. तो
Yeah.
भाई
वो फिर
कल का
किरकिरा
मैच
फुल किरकिरा हो गया.
जब बारिश का प्रिडिक्शन रहता है, नहीं होती बारिश. जब प्रिडिक्शन नहीं रहता, एकदम से कहीं से कहीं अचानक से आ जाता बारिश.
By the way,
तो
rain is forecast for tomorrow's game. Australia, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka.
there is forecast.
Yeah,
मैं बोल
And
रहा
what
हूँ
about the New Zealand game?
अफगानिस्तान
I don't know at this point.
Okay,
But
then
there's
keep your
Afghanistan-
sources alert. Keep your sources alert. Keep your guy in Adelaide awake as well. And Adelaide से भी हमारे को होना minute to minute update, and from the Gabba as well.
सालिश यार अफगानिस्तान जीतने वाली थी, ये पूरा बारिश कर दे रहे. I think it's like something.
But thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. It was a pleasure to speak to you. Hopefully, we get to see some good cricket tomorrow, and we can discuss that tomorrow. So thank you so much. Enjoy the games and take care of yourselves.
Thank you.